how important was the result?
Yeah, well, it was everything, I guess. We kind of know our league position's not anywhere where it should be, and today was an opportunity for us to start addressing that. Like I said, we had a good week of training, we got some players back, and important we won today.
Yeah, it was pretty direct evidence of what you've been missing. James Maddison scores the winning goal, and Guillermo Vicario, I don't think he was player of the match in the end, but he must have been pretty close to it.
Yeah, they're quality players, and we've had to do it pretty tough for the last 2.5 months, not through the lack of effort or trying from the lads. But yeah, just great to get those guys back, and even the guys who sort of came on and were able to contribute. Important, like I said, for us to gain some traction today. We can play better, definitely, but I think we will, once we get some boys up to speed and start growing into it.
Did you see other evidence, maybe bits that someone like me wouldn't pick up, of the difference having fresher players, slightly more full strength team makes? I don't know, maybe in the way you pressed, maybe in the way you built up.
You're a smart bloke, mate. You can see these things.
And you're the first person to say that.
Okay. Probably says more about me than anything else. No, look, I did think our press was a lot better than it has been in recent weeks. I thought it made it hard for sort of Man United to get out, and that certainly helped us get a grounding in the game where we could play the game in their half. And yeah, look, we looked a little bit sharp. I still think our front third movements were missing a bit. Obviously, look, Matty's just joined the club, and obviously with Matt has been out for quite a while. I felt we lacked a little bit of fluency in that front third. Having said that, we still created some chances, and yeah, look, we'll improve. We need to, but it was a decent effort.
Is the thing with the injuries, players come back, but form, confidence, all those intangibles, they don't just rush along back with the players?
Yeah, I don't think it's confidence. I think they're all sort of very keen to get out there, but there is a game rhythm which only comes by playing games. Every football will tell you the same thing. As much as you train, playing a game of football is a lot different. But having said that, I thought Vic and Matt has handled it really well, and it was great to get some time into guys like Brendan and Wilson. Destiny's ready to go, and we're not too far away from a couple of others, so we're going to need them. We still feel like we've got a big back half of the year and some real opportunity, so that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, I know I said it in my first question, but was it a really big day to win? Because when you spent the week, you did a great job in your press conference of making it feel more positive again. But when you've done that and you've talked up the importance of players coming back and having the break, if you then don't get the result, it's a bit of an uh-oh kind of moment.
Yeah, I'm sure most people were tuning in for that, to be honest. Everyone likes a little bit of a impending car crash, so I'm sure we had a lot of people, willing that sort of scenario on. But look, for me, it doesn't really change. The reason I was positive is because I just, I know how hard these players have worked for the last 2.5 months without great reward. They got help this week in terms of our schedule, but also players coming back. Our training was better. I was confident that we'd put in a good shift, and more importantly, we'd get the result.
Yeah, and just on the injuries, it was fascinating during the week hearing you talk about like Mickey van der Ven working on his mechanics, the time you're taking with Romero, with the players coming back now. Can you just tell us about maybe what you've learned, how you've adapted in terms of finding solutions to what has been obviously a long-running injury issue? Yeah, look,
again, it's hard to sometimes do that in the midst of competition because the focus is still on trying to win games of football. But we're in the background, we're doing sort of our own, looking into ways we can do things better. But we're not going to be the only ones. I've foreshadowed this for a while, and there'll be a few that come to my world in the next period, and people will see that it's sometimes not just a reflection of the people involved, but a reflection of the circumstances you've been dealt with.
So do you feel like that? Because we are seeing it at other clubs, and they probably have all season, that there's a wider issue there. I mean, you've had it in a lot of your press conferences. It's been put to you that the style of play, the way you press, the energy you put in. Yeah. If you're top of the pressing league, you're going to be quite high in the hamstring league as well.
To a certain extent, but what flies against that is we've had quite a few players who haven't got injured at all and played the whole season. In fact, played more football this year than they have in their whole careers. So it's not just that. It's more than that. That's a factor, obviously, in the way we play. But other clubs don't play like us, and they're starting to accumulate the toll of no rest for the players between seasons, and the accumulation of fixturing that's making it awfully difficult for everyone.
Genuine light at the end of the tunnel this time? Not another train?
Who knows? But, you know, look, as I said, we feel, and I certainly feel, that there's still a massive opportunity for us this back half of the year. Obviously Europe, but even in the league to make some inroads, and hopefully today's the start of that.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Pat.
Frustration of the injury and a few weeks of not being out to help your teammates. How determined were you to be the difference today?
Yeah, very determined, and it's always tough. Any player will tell you it's always tough being injured. We've obviously had a lot of injuries this year, so it's, in the scheme of things, actually quite a short one turnaround in comparison to some of the other lads who like Vicario and Wilson Odobert, who are back today, had been months and months. So in terms of that, but listen, you miss one game or you miss 10 games, you're always chomping at the bit to get back. Obviously picked up a little calf injury in Hoffenheim, but I scored that day and I felt good. And sometimes when you feel like that scoring presence, you feel like you want to keep that momentum going. So I went into the game today, because actually, to be fair, it wasn't that long ago that I played, 2.5, 3 weeks. I know I can be the difference here, so really nice to get on the score sheet again today, and really proud of the boys, because obviously it's been a bit of a up and down season in the league, probably not in the position where we want to be in terms of the league table, simple as that. So, but yeah, really happy for the lads and for the fans today, because it was a great atmosphere today, proper Premier League clash against a big team. So yeah, send them home happy. It's
obviously quite a simple finish, but is the key that you're the guy who's on the move, you're the guy who's alert? Yeah, just being alive. You know, I've always been a goal scoring midfielder. That's what I'm in the team to. That's why Spurs brought me to the club. You know, so to be the difference for me is to score goals and create goals and be that creative outlet on the pitch. And scoring goals is one of them things that I just mentioned. So being alive in the box and trying to sniff out them free ones, it's just they count the same as the 25-yarders. So. Yeah, really happy with that one. I have to say, I enjoyed your celebration, a very precisely thrown dart and then a finger to the lips. Directed at anyone in particular? Just a little bit of outside noise, wasn't there, this week? A little bit. But nah, listen, people have their opinions, but I wanted to do my talking on the pitch today, so I hope there's a certain few that enjoyed me being the match winner today, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you put probably more pressure on yourself. I mean, I've interviewed you numerous times over the years. The most pressure on you comes from you, right? Yeah, and no one's more critical of myself than me, you know. So outside Gaffer, to be fair to the Gaffer, he always talks about like blocking out the outside noise, but sometimes it's difficult, you know. It's constantly in your face and stuff. And but sometimes can you actually use it? Not forget blocking it out. Use it as motivation. You can use it, but I think the Gaffer prefers when we're just in our little bubble and listening to him and stuff. But sometimes it's difficult because it's constantly in your face these days with social media and WhatsApp, people sending stuff, and you do see it, and it is there. So it all gets fed through to your phone straight away, pretty much. Sometimes, but especially when it's a big profile name. But listen, it's about responding in the right way, and I did that today. And like I said, I was a match winner, so really delighted. For the not just you personally, for the group, has there been a lot? No, it hasn't. And to be fair to the boys that have been the boys that have been fit all season as well, that went. Listen, the Gaffer spoke about it and we've spoke about it a lot. We don't want to make excuses, but the last few months have been really difficult for the football club. We didn't get many bodies in January, especially early January, and we had our physio room was it's not an excuse, but it was full of senior players. You could have put out a senior 11 that's very experienced in the Premier League. So the lads who were just relentlessly going in Europe, and we obviously went deep into the Carabao as well, every 3 days. It's nice to be an injured player coming back. I know I didn't have too much time out, but only a couple of weeks. But to take the pressure off them and give them a rest and give the other lads a boost. And I thought Vicario was outstanding as well today, coming back in. So just it's about us being present now and leading like they did. Even amongst the bad run, they were still there. They were still present. They were still recovering. They were still living right to try and give us the best chance of winning. We had a bit of a bad run in form, but there's obviously factors to that, so it's nice to be back and have a bit of a bolster to the squad with some injuries and see some happy faces. Yeah. Well played, James. Thank you.
As he was saying, did James Maddison show the best way to respond to it?
That's all you can do. You know, do the business on the pitch, but not just today, for a run of games now. And I think sometimes the hardest thing to do as a player is look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I've not perhaps done the business. I haven't been as good as what I should be. And I think he's alluding to what's been said about him this week. And sometimes you've got to take that if you don't like it. That's the best way to react. Come out, do the business on the pitch, do your talking on the pitch. It's not been a good enough season for Tottenham. Yes, they've had injuries, but to be in the position they are, other teams have had injuries and struggled, but still found ways of winning. But it was a big 3 points from today. And that performance was one that I wasn't surprised by. It was never going to be beautiful. It was never going to be one of those sort of performances where everyone's like doing and taking the pressure off, because you've still got a big cup to look forward to. There's not many great sides left in that one, and you can still have a European Cup at the end of it. So that's what their objective has to be right now, and keep producing better performances.
They did what they had to do, Spurs, but how would you describe the way they went about it, Jermaine?
Just professional, to be honest. You know, just getting the job done. Of course, you want to play good football. I mean, since Ange's been in, we saw, especially in the first 2 months when he come in, you know, it was free-flowing, different to Conte. Everyone enjoyed it. You know, Spurs is back. But I think now, when you've had bad results, and it's been a long time, I think it's just a case of just being professional, being disciplined at times, sticking together and just winning. You know, then it just becomes like the results important, the performance ain't as much as that important as the result.
What do you make of the goal itself from James Maddison? Was he the most alert player in the box?
Yeah, and that's it really. He's the one that reacted the quickest. He just got himself in an area where, I mean, there's a lot of bodies in there, and I think Son here was just trying to sort of like just get it in the area. But even, I mean, Onana maybe could have pushed it a little bit wider. That's probably a negative on their part. But like, yeah, he just, you know, he just got himself in an area where he can sort of like try and sniff something out. I like saying, you know, getting attracted to the goalkeeper. No one's really seen him. He just reacted, and I bet he can't believe his luck when he
just glances over towards the assistant, doesn't he, just to make sure?
Yeah, because you don't know, and in that moment it happens so quick. But even when he taps it in, you just, I suppose you straight away you probably think, because you've got so much time, you think I must be offside. But like I said, he was the first one to react.
He reacts and gambles, he's alive. That's what
exactly.
that was what Jermaine did. He
just
always followed that.
There he is with the half lobster, followed by the darts throw.
Yeah.
Well, let you be delighted. You just want to score goals. You want to be playing. That's what you need to do. Just keep doing this talking on the pitch. Play well, and people won't be questioning your ability or everything you do. And it's important he does that now to the end of the season, because there's no doubt he has qualities. We all know that.
Yeah.
You also talked about the importance of having players who, yes, he's not been out for a huge amount of time, but he's been out for a couple of weeks. Can that actually help Tottenham, that he's coming back in? And yes, he's been recovering from injury, but he's maybe a bit fresher than the ones who are playing midweek weekend.
You just need bodies. You need, especially substitute. We looked at the two managers today. Amorim's looking behind, thinking, I've got 17, 18-year-olds here to bring on, or a centre-back in Lindelof. You look at Ange's his bench is pretty stacked, if you like. You've got good midfield players there. You've got Odegaard that can come on and do something. Defensively, you're OK. It makes a big difference. And all of a sudden, that squad looks a bit thicker. You can get players back, a little bit of confidence. Vicario was a gamble today, but he brought him back in and he performed really well, made one brilliant save from Garnacho, and that's exactly what they needed today. So it is going to take time for them to get that performance and that confidence and free-flowing football that we spoke about maybe last season when Ange first come. Because when you're under pressure, it's difficult. You know, the crowd, the anxiety. But the most important thing was, Kelly, they got that 3 points. It wasn't vintage by any stretch, but it was a good win for them.
When Jamie mentioned there the chance for Garnacho, there were a couple of opportunities for Manchester United in this game. So we have to factor in, when we're judging Tottenham's performance, that the Manchester United were wasteful, Jermaine.
Yeah, this is a big chance. You have to make the goalkeeper work. You have to hit the target from there, because he has time, to be honest. I know it bobbles up a little bit, but you have to slow your feet down, be calm and hit the target. You know, that was a big chance in the game, Jane.
Yeah, I mean, this one, look, you talk about this is your domain, Jay. What does he do wrong here?
Even this one, to be honest, it's not an easy chance, of course, because I think Porro comes across and he's stretching a little bit. It's not an easy chance, but at the same time, you want to think that you have to try and go across the goalkeeper there. This one's, I think...
This is a bit unlucky, this one. He hits this well.
Yeah, it's a good stop, good save. But there's nothing else he can do, really. Just try and hit the target, gets good power.
Good save.
I won't say it was a great chance, but he made it.
You said there were moments from Zirkzee. This may be not one of them, Jamie.
Because Jermaine said something really interesting. What does he get wrong here, Jermaine?
I spoke about like foot patterns, if that makes sense, because I just felt like he was a little bit flat-footed there. You can see his movement. There's not much movement there, because I always think once the ball goes wide, if you can just sort of like come away from the ball and then attack it, I think just those slight movements, if you do that, then I think you've got a better chance, because it's sort of like caught underneath it and he's sort of like stretching there where it's too flat-footed.
What you mean I don't know if we can see that again.
Yeah.
But
So I'm talking
do you mean
about
making
like
shorter steps?
Shorter steps.
Because they're 3 long steps that
so
he makes.
So if the ball goes wide, if he comes away from it a little bit, 2 yards, comes away from it a little bit, then you go forward and attack it. But it's sort of like just on his heels a little
he's
bit.
running
It's too
onto the
flat-footed.
ball
Yeah,
when
just those. It's small details. It's little things really.
Is that maybe just a little bit
Too
of lack
static.
of confidence? Is
Yeah.
that belief?
So I always think when the ball goes wide for centre forwards, you should always have 2 movements, even if it's subtle movements. Haaland does it well. It would sort of like it goes back and then he'll attack it. You know, it doesn't have to be big movements, but those subtle movements. Your foot patterns are so important, and it could have made a difference.
In terms of players coming back for Tottenham, James Maddison obviously back, and a big one was Vicario, who we'd already touched on here. But Ange Postecoglou said it before the game. It's not just about the fact that he's their #1 goalkeeper. It's about the fact that he's experienced, and it's about the calmness that he can maybe bring to that defence that's looked quite fragile. And it's successive clean sheets for the first time in 60 months.
Yeah, is it Kinski, the keeper, the young one, who when he first came in, he got thrust into a really difficult situation in the cup. I think it was against Liverpool in the first leg, and he did ever so well. And then he had a couple of
That was a clean sheet, but not in the Premier League.
Yeah, he did quite well in that game, and you just felt that. But it's a lack of experience, especially for goalkeepers. And when you've got someone there that's assured, he made good saves. As I said before, he wasn't in the best of form before he got injured, but he's still an established player, and he gives you that little bit of belief. It just helps with the manager, because when you're trying to get your message across, if you see a lot of young players, sometimes they need older heads around them, good people. You know, he spoke about what a good person he is in the dressing room. I saw him talking to, I think, Bergvall at the end of the game, explaining a couple of things to him. And you do need good senior players. So to get him back, I think, is important. He played some really good saves. And I felt they weren't, because there's been times when you watch Tottenham and they take risks. And he played one ball into Bentancur at one point with Bentancur did ever. It's a straight pass, which I'm not a big fan of. He took it so well. But apart from that, I didn't think they were... Sometimes Tottenham play such high-risk football, but I didn't feel that they did that as much today. And to be honest, I think that's almost the way to go, just for a while, because you've got to build yourself back into confidence. You can't just keep playing the same way and playing almost Russian roulette, because sooner or later you're going to get shot, and that's not the way to play. But I felt that there was a bit more calmness, and like you said about Jed Spence, who I agree with, Jermaine, I thought he was man of the match. Gary Neville was right. I just thought it was a good decision to not at times just go run into areas. Pedro Porro does it too often for me. Yeah. But I felt Jed was just had that calmness and class about him today, Jermaine.
I just thought he just picked his moments. I think as fullback, you've got to pick your moments. If you've got comfortable possession, obviously that comes with experience, then you know when to go forward. But I just felt like he picked his moments. He knew when to go forward, and you know, even here, just getting the team up the pitch, and even when he got into the final third, he picks the right pass. You know, he's clever. You know, he's disciplined, strong.
This was good. I like this bit of play.
Really good. So everything he did well. Everything he did, really, really good game.
And he's found this, because it was never, when he first arrived, I think it was Antonio Conte was the manager. And I heard that Antonio Conte didn't really necessarily want him, and he made that pretty clear. And then there was also a case where was Jed maybe trained as well as what he could? How was his attitude in and around the place? Now I look at a young player with tremendous talent, speed, agility. He can defend, very cool on the ball, got a good football brain. He is doing so well. But it just shows you need a bit of confidence, a bit of belief, And sometimes when we talk about injuries, if there aren't these injuries to a doggy or whoever, we don't probably see him in the Tottenham side. But he's forced his way in there. He's been taking his chance really well. And I thought today, I think we all agree, I thought he was excellent.
And it's not easy for fullbacks, especially the way Tottenham want to play with the fullbacks playing so high, and it's quite congested, and sometimes you've got your back to goal and you've got to pick the right pass at the right moment. But I thought that he was brilliant today.
Well, Gary Neville, as you say, gave him player.
Thanks also to the gaffer in the way he wants me, to be one of the guys into the dressing room. So these emotions, these feelings for me are very important, and I can feel this since day one after the injury, and I took that into every session I had before this comeback.
Guillermo, Glenn Hoddle here. Congratulations on the 3 points today. Was it also very difficult mentally to come back? Because the team have a high line. They play such a high line. You've always got to be mentally alert. Was that something that you had to really work on before you came back?
Yeah, but it's tough to replicate, in training also with the runs of course that the opponent can make. So I can say this aspect is the toughest to replicate in training, because you can replicate just playing games and to adapt, you know, and trying straight away to go back in the mentality and the mindset of the team. Of course, is what I love to do. Is what is one of the, you know, sensation and the motivation that I play also for this football club. I love we deliver this style of football. I love to be the keeper of this football club and for this manager, because he's trying to do and to deliver not average, you know, performance of football. He's trying to do something different, something special. Sometimes of course we can lose game of football because it's a sport. You play against an opponent, they are the same level as you, but of course for me today is a big day. I'm very glad to be back with the team, and yeah.
And overall, finally, not just you, but 4 others in the squad today back on the pitch. I mean, there's finally some light at the end of the injury tunnel.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. We miss still some lads. Of course, Mick is still out, but we're waiting for him. Cuti Romero, also Timo Werner, Dom Solanke. So we have other lads that we are waiting for to coming back. And when we are all together, I think this is a big family. This is a big football club that believes in what the manager wants from us. And of course, when we are everyone all together, everyone is fit, we can reach something special.
Terrific. Well done today. Really good performance.